Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining me on. Joined by Connor from the Cop Council, Doug from Doug the Football Channel, and Dave from Dave LFC Chats. Nice one, lads, for coming on. And I know it's going to be a very serious episode this week, really, but we'll be covering every aspect of obviously people's health with the conditions and really what the whole world really faces in terms of a football and scope anyway. But Connor, nice one, lads. I'll leave everyone's links in the description as well, so make sure you do head over, subscribe to the lads anyway. But we'll start with Doug, mate. It's very unprecedented times in terms of world. The future periods we're living week to week. We don't know what it completely could change in the next hour, 10 minutes, what not be. But mate, it's a very uncertain future in which we do face in the coming weeks, isn't it, mate?
Certainly is. I mean, I was working today. And like the amount of people panic buying is absolutely nonsense. But I can understand why they're doing it. But obviously, I go home from work and I found out about obviously the football being cancelled. And quite right as well, because health comes first. You know, a person can contact this virus. You know, if you've got underlying health problems, you're likely to, perish, unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely right decision. I mean, this football over here in Scotland is actually has been suspended indefinitely, so they don't actually know when in fact the actual return date will be. So there's already talk about potentially voiding the season. So if it would happen, then obviously Hearts wouldn't get relegated. Celtic would have to wait for 9 in a row. There's a lot of questions to be asked about what happens next. But absolutely right decision. And basically, like if you think about all the sporting events that have been cancelled, you look at the F1. They've had to cancel in Australia because a McLaren sort of person in the team contract it was positive. Obviously, F1 have decided to delay their season until June. The Players' Championship at Sawgrass, the golf has been cancelled as well.
Yeah.
There's just been so many that have been cancelled, and I think the only sort of sports that I've seen basically going ahead this weekend, I think, are darts and snooker, I think, as far as I'm aware. So it just shows how much a pandemic this is and how serious it is.
Yeah, spot on, mate. Obviously, everyone, if you're new around here, I don't know if you've seen the video done today, everyone on the channel. I've got underlying health conditions. So, obviously, I've been in and out of hospital all my life. So, as you can tell, my lungs aren't the best. So, I think I might have to, obviously, self-isolate myself. But everyone out there, hopefully, everyone is safe. Obviously, take the precautions like we've been saying over the last couple of weeks on the podcasts. Make sure just do basic hygiene and really just look out for each other. And obviously, it's going to be every aspect of life. As you, Dave, it's obviously the football. Football comes last in terms of everything, in terms of what's been happening, mate. But what's the viewpoint over in Ireland, mate? What's happening?
Well, we actually are. Well, we're not on lockdown like Italy. Italy's really bad, but we shut schools yesterday. We shut universities, galleries, museums, all outdoor venues or anything that has 500 plus cannot go ahead, and indoor 100 plus. So I mean, that's a lot of places. Like 100 people isn't a huge amount of people indoors. Listen, Jack, this is serious. I've been following this since January when it hit Wuhan in China. COVID-19 coronavirus. It's a zoonotic flu type SARS-2 actually it is, flu virus. But the problem about this one is we've no vaccine yet. It'll take about a year at least to get a vaccine. We've no immunity. That's the big issue because no one's ever had it before. It's a brand new, it's novel virus. Novel means new. So it's a new virus. I sound like a virologist here. But I mean, like, to me, the big thing about this one is it hits older people the worst. Anybody 65 plus, I know you hear 75 and 85 and all this, it's actually 65 upwards. The older you get, it gets worse, obviously. Now, people like Jack was saying, I think Jack has an underlying condition as well, which you really have to be careful with, Jack. Now, I said it to you yesterday, I texted you yesterday. I seriously think you might even have to self-isolate, Jack. Really, that's how bad it is. And people with, any underlying condition like emphysema or cystic fibrosis, type 1 diabetes, these type things, even cancer treatment, anywhere that you're immunocompromised is very, very dangerous. And to be honest, I know you've seen the thing on news. I was watching BBC Newsnight last night where they're saying like you will lose some of your basically they're talking about losing people before it was time. They meant probably older people. That's true. I mean, this is not acting the fiddle. I know we're talking about cancelling sport, but realistically, cancelling sport is not anything. Health is your wealth. That's what it's about. I mean, the sport will probably go on. I don't think the problem with this is I think this is months rather than weeks, unfortunately. I know Liverpool and all the Premier League are saying they're coming back on the first week in April. It's not going to happen. Yeah. This will not hit its peak in the UK, as far as I know, and I've heard till late May, early June. So it's actually going to get worse, all the way up to late May, early June. There's no way they're going to open up in April when it's halfway through, being way worse than it is now. It goes up in levels, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. So I really do think you're talking summertime here, if ever. I mean, it's summertime at least. So all I can say is to all you guys, we've closed a lot of places out. You haven't followed us. I don't know what the hell you are doing, but you have a different thing. I think you're called a herd immunity, where I can understand that one as well. I think it's Patrick Vallance is the head scientific officer, chief officer in UK. What he's basically saying is 60 to 70% of the population will get this virus. Now, that's a lot of people. 60 to 70 out of, say, 60 plus million is a lot of people. But the problem is this has a 1% fatality rate. So if you divide, say, I don't know, 40 million by 1%, what's that? Real quick, that's 400,000 people will die. So there you have the problem straight away. Now, I'm not talking about in a few weeks or months, but this will come back again. I've done a lot of study on it since January, as I said. I've been watching Dr. John Campbell on YouTube. He's very good, respiratory doctor. He's been doing a huge vlog. Check him out. He's over 500,000 subscribers now. Not that he's worried about subscribers, but he's brilliant. He's concise. Everything he said has come true. He's been called this a pandemic a month ago, and then he got called a pandemic on Wednesday. I think it was ridiculous. So, guys, all I'm going to say, I'm not going to say too much about it, but the sports side of it, we can get over the sports side of it. I would have liked it to win the league, of course. It's taken 30 years. I tweeted it. You can back check it if you want. The middle of January, my tweet was, Liverpool are so far ahead in the league, only the coronavirus can stop us winning it. And that was in the middle of January, guys. I've known about this for so long. It was only a matter of time. I was hoping and praying it wouldn't have. It was maybe April. It would come. It was going to stop games and stuff. I didn't think it'd be early March, but your health, your wealth. You've got to be careful. Wash your hands. Isolations. You, Jack, especially got to be careful. There's no doubt about it. But even normal, healthy people, especially for grandparents, if they've older parents or grandparents, just be careful, guys. Sport is a one-sided, but we can get over that. I know I'm ranting here, but it's so important. Just no jokes tonight. This is serious shit. People, unfortunately, are actually going to die here, but we can get over it with sport. The league is one thing. I would have loved them to win it. We're still probably going to win it at some stage, but realistically, it's all about health, my friends.
Yeah, echo those words, mate. Spot on. In terms of Connor, we've seen obviously Mikel Arteta. I know Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. Everton, one of the first team played as well. I think it will hit basically every single football club. It's just, as Dave said, it's a matter of time, not when, but if. Not if, but when. Really, in terms of the Premier League, and I think it's the right decision. I'm what I've seen on the internet as well, and what was the overriding sense of, I've seen a lot of people think this is the Premier League originally did say, I think it was yesterday, oh, we're all going ahead, and the reaction to that was really absolutely, I was fuming, because it was like, the Premier League just thinking about themselves, thinking about the money. Don't get me wrong, they've got a competition to run, but it's absolutely disgusting the way in which they were potentially going in the direction. But obviously, due to what's been happening over the last, it's like literally an hour after, then they said they called the meeting today with obviously delegation of every single club and officials, mate. But it's as Dave and Doug have said, in the next couple of weeks, I've been watching a couple of videos as well, and a couple of experts saying you're looking, if the Premier League was suspended, it still get potentially pushed back. Obviously, the Euros have been delayed by a year or something as well. Champions League, mate. But in terms of it's the right decision. But what do you feel in terms of if you were head of the Premier League, you'd possibly potentially do?
I think they've done the right thing now. I strongly agree with you. I think that this should have been, a thing maybe last week or the week before, especially with the UK government and, Boris Johnson saying there's no need to shut schools. Like Dave said, this is a very, very serious thing. And, like the rugby as well, Wales and Scotland, that was meant to be going ahead. That's been called off. And, it should have been done a long time ago. They are just thinking about money. And at the end of the day, you can replace money. You can replace venues. You can replace fixtures. You can't replace loved ones. And that is what, for me, is the big thing of this. I have a nan that I live with and everything like that. And, I've been saying to her, stay indoors, don't go out anywhere and everything like that. Stay in self-quarantine, even though, no one around us has it yet or anything like that. But, this virus is spreading massively, and they, like Dave said, and like what Doug said, they haven't even got a vaccine yet for it. So, just stay indoors, stay hygienic. And the other thing away from football, I'm very surprised that they, went ahead with all the Cheltenham races for the horse racing and everything like that. I'm hugely, surprised that they went ahead with that. I think it was around 60,000 people today turned up or something like that. So it's an unbelievable amount of numbers, and it just should not have gone ahead. There, you think of money and everything like that, and the news a little bit goes over about stock takes and everything like that. Like I said, money does not matter. Loved ones matter. And for me, the Premier League have done the right thing. Do I think he'll be back? I think they said April 3rd for the Premier League. Do I think he'll be back then? No, I think absolutely not. And I would rather, prolong this out to maybe the end of May, the beginning of June. Make sure, it's gone, and make sure, no one else can contract it. And, if that means the Euros have to be pushed back a year, then it has to be pushed back a year. Liverpool, in terms of that, we would, hoping, the Premier League can be wrapped up as soon as possible. I think even James Pearce said if that game goes ahead, we play Man City. If we were to win that, then Liverpool would be crowned Premier League champions. For me though, the first thing, make sure this is all gone, cleared, everything's done, and then come back middle of May, June, whenever it is, and then redo it, because Liverpool are going to win the league, and don't worry about that. But as it is at the minute, just stay safe, stay hygienic, make sure wash your hands and everything like that, and normal things will get resumed. But for now, just stay calm and stay positive.
Yeah, spot on, mate. I think Jürgen, everyone, obviously the club released a statement today, really. I think Jürgen, yet again, he was asked by the reporter, like he was all those weeks ago, I think it was on Podcast Board or so, and we talked about his response to being asked about the situation. And he said he's the last person really they should be asking. They should be asking the medical professionals, and really not Jürgen's opinion. But he's come out and said even if it saves one person's life, obviously closing the stadiums and playing behind closed doors, then that the club are doing the right things. And obviously the Legends game, I think me and Connor mentioned, I think me and Doug were meant to be going to that, but that's being pushed back as well. But every spectacle is really, it's unprecedented times, and really it's going to be day to day, change it week by week. But I think I seen an interview with Dana White as well. It'd be interesting to see how all these big industries and organisations really, how do you deal with it, really, Dave, in terms of, obviously you got the MMA, NBA, everything's been called off. But I'm hoping, the money aside, which should be the last thing people think about, as Connor mentioned, then people's lives are more important. Dave, what do you reckon in terms of...
Yeah, well, listen, Jack, I mean, like, it's people are going to die from this. It's as simple as that. There's no getting away from it. The problem with this virus is it's going to be around for a long time. That's the problem. It's going to go into the system as being a seasonal thing. So it's going to probably come around again, even if it goes away in the summer with a bit of heat. And we don't even know if that's going to happen. But if it does go away, like most flus, it could come back even... Like, I don't want to be funny here, but it could come back even worse. If you're, I read a book on the 1918 pandemic, which is 100 years ago. The Great Spanish Flu, it was called. Between 50 and 100 million people lost their lives in 2 years. But the problem was with that pandemic, it came first, like now, like this pandemic, but it came back the second and third year even worse. So listen, guys, I don't know. I'm not a virologist. I'm not an expert. I'm just looking at it historically. But this in itself is bad. You know, we're talking about football. We're talking about Liverpool and stuff. But realistically, it doesn't matter. I mean, sport's going to be shut down. There's going to be a lot more than sports shut down. The schools already where I'm living shut down. Every school, every gallery, even pubs in Ireland to be shut down, which is unheard of. So, like, think about it. You know what I mean? Every way of life will change from this way in. I mean, 9/11 in 2001, when the planes hit the towers in New York, that was a big sea change in psychology in people's lives. But this, unfortunately, is even worse. This is a 1 in 100-year event, my friends. You know, this only happens every 100 years. Most people, well, everybody wasn't alive the last time something like this has happened. This is major shit. This is like, I don't want to be scaring people too much, but it could get ugly. But the problem is, we might be okay, especially in the West. We've got money, we've got medical systems. If we do everything right that we've been told to do, isolate if you're feeling sick, if you have a dry cough, or you've got a high temperature, or you've got, what's the three things? There's a high temperature, I think it's over 37.8. If you've got a dry cough, especially dry cough is the big one. But if you do everything, if self-isolate and you keep the thing where you keep 2 meters away, you do all these things, you've got a really good chance, not of beating it because it's going to spread anyway, but just of giving the medical systems chance so that the hospitals don't get overburdened. And that's the thing. But I would pity big time for the poor countries like of Africa, continents like Africa, South America, parts of South Asia. They won't be able to cope. But I mean, Iran, if you've been following Iran in the Middle East, they're in big, big trouble and no one really knows what the hell is going on there. But it's really bad. It's really bad. But listen, guys, I can't really say much more about it other than just be careful. It's that bad. I'm serious. I'm not even joking tonight, which is unusual. So I'm serious about it. So just wash your hands, isolate, do whatever anybody tells you to do. If you don't see people washing their hands or doing what they're meant to do, call them out on it. That's how simple it is. Everybody has to help everybody. Everybody has to pull together. This means war.
Yeah, spot on, Dave. I think we'll probably end it very soon, everyone, but let us know your thoughts, the reaction, if you think it's the right, appropriate reaction from the world governing bodies of every industry, every football, boxing, whatever that may be, or if you're just an ordinary person that's just stumbled across our video, let us know your thoughts on the reaction from the sports point of view. Do you think it's the right? Is it enough? Do you feel the government or every organisation around the world, in terms of the football sense and every sense really, if they're doing enough and you think they should do more? But everyone, on behalf of me, Doug and Mickey and Connor, have a lovely rest of your night. We would have talked a little bit more about football, but this is more important, and I felt just wanted to gauge the lads' opinions really, and really as everyone, stay safe, as we've said, do the appropriate steps in just doing the best as possible anyway, and really I think we'll join you next week for our next podcast anyway. Obviously, if there's any updates in terms of Liverpool or any football in terms, we'll bring that to you. But nice one, lads, for taking your time out tonight. But yeah, nice one, lads. And everyone at home, be safe and have a lovely weekend if you can. And we'll see you next week for the next podcast.
Jack,
you never.
Jack, can I just say something?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, mate.
And wash your hands. 20 seconds. Let's do it, guys.
Yeah, nice one, Dave.
Can I just say, our thoughts and prayers are with Mikel Arteta, Callum Hudson-Odoi, everyone at Bournemouth, everyone at Leicester, everyone at Chelsea, everyone at Everton. We're all you. I know it might sound a wee bit bad to say this, but we're all united as a football front, as a football family when a pandemic comes around. So, our thoughts and prayers are with basically every football club right now.
Cheers.
Yeah, spot on, Doug. I think we'd echo that as well, Connor. When we make everyone unite against this, we can beat it as a human race and all that. And rivalry goes aside. Anyway, we're all one big family.
We'll Liverpool echo that.
Yeah, Liverpool echo anyway. But everyone, have a quality rest of your night if you can. Enjoy, be safe, and we'll see you next week. You never walk alone, lads. Ta-ra.
Cheers.